Hi, friends. Happy Monday. I hope you're having a good day. We just had a torrential downpour. It was really fun to watch. My husband had a chair out there like it was a movie. So I had so much fun last Monday playing with this floral charm and this charming day or full of charm paper pumpkin kit that I just had to share it with you again. And also, I just wanted to remind you that there's all this online exclusive product that goes live tomorrow, July 1st. So let me just kind of go over that a little bit with you. Obviously, the Floral Charm Suite collection that I've shown you. And this is a really good layout of what is in the suite. So there are let me just make sure that you can see this. There are all these dies. Some of the dies coordinate with a stamp set. So these are the stamps, and then these are the sentiments that go in the stamp set. So it's really beautiful. We have all this gorgeous designer series paper. So you can see that this is one side, that's the other. Really beautiful DSP. And then, of course, we've got the the charming shimmer faceted dots, the petal pink braid. It's like a jute. And then, of course, these are some of the coordinating colors. It doesn't list these last two, but obviously you can tell there's all kinds of petal pink. So I was surprised they left that out. So this is the card. These two cards we made on last week. I've made this one since, and as you can see, this is a watercolor um, on watercolor paper, and it ended up being really beautiful and just really gorgeous. And then I just took one of those tags and split it in half to make it look like it was a band. So really beautiful card. And then we'll make another couple of cards, one with the paper pumpkin and one with this floral charm, but we'll do more stamping. And then we'll make something with the paper pumpkin as well. So there's also the Painterly Pears Suite collection. I'll show you that one next week. We'll be playing with that. And then there's the Spooky Suite collection, which is looks like a fun Halloween. So it's got some cellophane bags, lots of DSP. It looks like it's got stickers, a stamp set, and dies, and ribbon. And it looks like it's got shimmer, star foams, an iridescent ribbon. And then, of course, there's all kinds of individual bundles. So there's Bauble and Blooms, which is a Christmas one, another Just a Note. I'll be showing that one to you when I do some scrapbooking. Fright Night is a really cute Halloween-related one. There's Label Me Grateful, which looks really beautiful. Tractor and Company bundle. Holly Jolly, which looks like a fun Christmas bundle. And then there's a sunflower embossing folder, some tweed, need for tweed, 12 by 12 designer series paper, which is great for fall. And then a little chair, which is super cute. It's got these fun little punches to go with the stamp set. So really fun things. And I saw the sneak peeks of some cute kits that are coming out tomorrow as well. So be sure to check that out. All right. So just more on this really beautiful kit. So we're going to earn this beautiful suite here in a minute. But first we're going to get into the paper pumpkin again. So the paper pumpkin, I love that it coordinates with the floral charm suite collection. But we're going to make this cute little Bagalope. So I found out what this name was when I was putting this together with my customer on Saturday with my card buffet. So if you're local and you're interested in one of my card buffets, I have them the last Saturday of the month. So as we get closer to Christmas, we'll start doing some Christmas things. So, but this is a fun little bag we're going to do, and then we'll put this card together as well. So just as a reminder, this kit has got some gorgeous things to it. There are still refills available. So we made these cards on last Monday. So these are the ones that we made them just like the kit directions. So really beautiful cards. And I have since made a beautiful, I can't tell you what it is, but a beautiful 3D item that is part of my Paper Pumpkin Creative. So I will be sharing that with you as well. That will be going live tomorrow. Okay, so the first thing I want to do to take out these sentiments, because we're going to need them shortly, is we're going to use one of these envelopes. And so if you've got some envelopes from a kit that you never got to use, they're a great way to create some fun little gift bags. So this is something that'd be fun for a birthday or a shower. It could be a great little shower gift as well, and easily decorated. Okay, so I'm taking my A2 envelope, and what I'm going to do is, let me take the item out of it that's there. I'm going to score it at a 1/2 inch, and on this portion I'm running it a few times. On this portion it's too light. We'll end up damaging the paper if we score it too heavy in that area. So I'm scoring it lots of times where the thickness is more, and then less time where the flap is. So this is a 1/2 inch on all 3 sides. 1/2 inch here, 1/2 inch here, 1/2 inch there. Okay, no cutting involved, so this is what's really fun. So now I'm going to fold it so it has lots of pliability. This is why we fold, because we don't want it to fold in the wrong direction. Okay, now I'm going to press on it and try to get this part right here to become a triangle. Okay, so I want it to be so that I can easily get it to fold up like this, and I'm going to glue that little bit right there. So I'm just going to put a little glue and press it over. Okay, and then we'll work on the other side. So I'm putting my fingers in there and I'm pressing, trying to get that little triangle going. So you can see that I'm working on this little piece here, and I want the triangle to go all the way over to my score mark again, so I can get that little area glued up against the envelope. Let me just make sure this one is adhered. And then I'm going to push this crease in, because this is what it's going to sit on. So I want it to be able to sit down. And then I'm going to squeeze the edges or the sides in. And then this little flap will just fold over. Okay. So before I get too carried away though, actually I should have done some stamping, is I want to stamp this area, because this is where I'm going to decorate my little Bagalope. Okay, so it becomes a bag. It was an envelope, but it becomes a bag. I just put a little glue dot there, made it a little less tacky with my fingers so that I can easily undo it. So, okay, so I want to stamp here, and I want some of these leaves. And I'm going to use my Pretty Peacock stamp. And this is just one of the stamps from the kit. And I'm going to do one over here. And then I'm going to do one here. And you'll see that when I've got my elements on it, it's still going to be able to be seen. Okay. So let me just clean this off real quick. I have so many kits made up that I haven't put away yet that are from my Saturday card buffet that I don't have that many blocks right now. And it looks like I've got a little ink on my, there we go. All right, I'm going to need the sentiment that says, "Let's celebrate you." And so I'll take one of these and make the diamond, put the diamond towards me, and stamp this sentiment right there. So just be sure to do your stamping before. I actually did a little bit of stamping on this side of it, but I forgot. Okay, so we're done with the stamping, and I can put that aside. Now, the ephemera that comes in the kit, just pull it out so that you can see what it looks like. I know there's another one here somewhere. Here it is. Okay, so the ephemera that comes in the kit looks like this. And what I did is I took this apart and then I cut it. You can see that this piece is this top half. So I fussy cut around it, and I got rid of this one leaf because it was a little awkward, because there's this leaf that goes into it a little bit. And then this second part is the bottom part, and you can see that I fussy cut around it, and you can't tell that it was actually two pieces. So I'm using the second piece for my second Bagalope, and I'll place it like so. But for now, I want to place my sentiment on first, and then I'll let it overlap a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to put my dimensionals. So my sentiment is up at the top, so I'm going to put my dimensionals up here, and then some smaller pieces here, but I want to leave the bottom half of my sentiment blank because it's going to be overlapping on my Bagalope. Okay, so let's put this here. And then I'll add this portion of it to go over the top. So because I don't want to put it on top of this, let's just make sure that we're getting our dimensionals in the right spot. And then another little piece right here. And then it just goes over it so nicely. Looks like I missed the mark just a little bit. One of my dimensionals is showing. So let me put a smaller one here. There we go. And it looks like I overlapped too much with this, so it covers the celebrate too much. There we go. All right. So now you can see I've got my little Bagalope. It's all ready to go. And I can slip a bunch of chocolates in here, maybe a little small card pack. It'd be fun to use like a mini some of the mini cards and envelopes that come in the assorted cards and envelope pack, or a gift card, anything you want. So it's just a fun size. And if you want to, you could also put a ribbon around it so it stayed closed, or you can lick this and it's permanently closed. So it makes a great way for kids not to peek if you're making this into a Christmas gift box. The only thing I've missed here is I need to put some embellishments on here. So pretty. It just makes a beautiful little gift bag. Okay, so that's that. Get that to stick. And we'll set it right here. Okay. All right, next we're going to make an alternate card. So this alternate card is the second card that we made. So I cut the cardstock in half. So the card has a really beautiful design on both the front and the back. So you can see that it's got this beautiful gold foil on the front and the back. And what I did is I cut it in half and made it into 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, so that it nested really nicely with a piece of Berry Burst, which is one of the coordinating colors for this kit. Okay. And then for the embellishment, I took the ephemera and you can see that I cut it in half. So right here where this stem is, you can see that I just cut it in half, but by making it landscape, it sits down here real nicely. And for my second card, you'll see that this piece just fits against here, and I can still stamp my beautiful foliage next to it. So this time, instead of using full strength, I'm going to use half strength and see if it comes out a little lighter, because I like the look of this. This feels almost like it's too dark. So I'm going to try it a little bit differently this time. And let me get rid of one of these stamps so you can see what I'm doing. So we know it's going to sit right here. It's going to be kind of towards the bottom. So I'm going to stamp this off and then place it about right there. Yeah, I like that a little bit better. I don't like it quite so dark. So that makes me a lot happier. So let's just place it again and kind of see where things will end up. And let's put one over here. And then let me clean off this. Any sort of reds just stain up the photopolymer, but they're still good stamps, so you don't have to worry about it ruining anything permanently other than just discoloration. Okay, so I like this being stamped off a little bit better. Now I do need the sentiment Miss You. So, and we're going to use the round I'm looking for the, oh, there it is. Looking for one of the round labels. So we're just going to stamp this on there full strength. I'm not going to add any of the extra ephemera because I've got plans for these that I'm going to do, not today, but I wanted to play with them doing something else. So they're really beautiful, and I think I can make a couple more cards out of what's left over as well. Okay, so now I want to pop this up, so I'm going to add dimensionals again. And I've got some little pieces that will work for some of these smaller areas. I like putting lots of dimensionals because I don't like areas sinking down when it's up. Okay, so looks like I got a little, or maybe that's from the ephemera, I'm not sure. There we go. And then I can add the little missue here. Just a little bit of overlap. So pretty. I almost want to tuck it under. Really pretty. And then we'll just add a little extra bling. And then we're going to glue this to our Berry Burst cardstock. And that just pops up that color like crazy. It's so pretty. And then we're going to create an A2 card base. So let me get this raised. And then just add it to the card. So this piece of Berry Burst is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, so it covers the entire front of the card. Such a pretty card. And then of course I could add more stamping on the inside if I wanted to add a little bit more of these pretty flowers. And then of course for the envelopes, I can do the same. So I am going to use full strength on the envelope front. And then I'm going to use what's remaining, so it's a little bit lighter, on the inside of the card. Isn't that pretty? So just a little pretty extra. Okay, so that's this card and envelope. And this ephemera is for another card. But you can see you get these two beautiful cards from the one piece of ephemera and these two beautiful cards from the one card base. So really fun to get it to go a little bit extra. You don't have to have miss you on everything. You could change it out and have happy birthday, or because there's a number of sentiments in this kit, just as a reminder. If you purchase the kit, then you get the stamps and the sentiments. There we go. So it had, let's celebrate you, thank you, happy birthday to a wonderful friend, miss you. So it was a really great complement of sentiments that work all year long. Okay, so now we're going to do our last card. And we'll be using the sweet for that. I know I've got a whole bunch going on here, don't I? Okay, so this is our last card that we're going to be making. And this is with the sweet. So you can see how great the sweet coordinates. It's got the same little leaf, some of the same sprigs, but you could use any of these sentiments on those cards as well. So, okay, so for this, We're going to start with the A2 card base. I need a little extra for the flower that we're going to color with blends. I have a 2x4 piece of the rose cardstock, and then I have a 3x4 piece of, it's the back of this one. So you can see it has a really pretty berry burst on it. So we'll use that. And then for this card, I used, you can see that the Pretty Peacock coordinates with this, and I used the Pretty Peacock for this card, but I'm going to use the Night of Navy instead, just to see, because I've got this Night of Navy ribbon that comes with the Peaceful Garden, and I showed that to you briefly last week as well. This Peaceful Garden is such a pretty sparkly ribbon. Isn't that lovely? It's really, really lovely. I love all the sparkles in it. Okay, so let's get started. Let me get this going. Okay, so this will go here, and then this will go here, and then this will go here, but we need to stamp this first. So we're going to use this pretty stamp from the set, and we're going to create a pattern paper, tone on tone. So this is Berry Burst, beautiful watercolor wash, and so we're going to just stamp all over this. So I'm going to put one in the middle to kind of start my design, and then I can place them around it. And then any little gaps, I can just add a little bit extra. And then it looks like a pattern paper. Okay. So I need one more of these stamped in the same color. So I'm just going to stamp with this color rather than using anything else. And we're going to color using blends. Because we're going to be using mostly the same color. I did want to show you something though. So at first I accidentally colored it with Mossy Meadow blends, and I felt like it just was such a pretty look, even with the berry burst around the edges of the leaves. I don't know if you've seen some of the shrubs, but there's shrubs that have these beautiful colors in the leaves, the berry burst along with the really rich green, and it just becomes a really beautiful floral. So, okay, so we're going to use the Berry Burst Light and Dark, and when I'm doing my flowers, I'm using the paintbrush end, and I'm going to go around the edge, and I'm just leaving a little highlight. So that's what I'm doing here. It just kind of gives it like a 3D effect. Like there's a little light, keeping the petals a little lighter. And this is the light one. And then I come back with the darker, and I use the pen end. So I'm just going to add a little depth. And then I'm going to add some spots in the middle. And then I'm going to come back now with the Night of Navy. This is the dark. Because if you look at the paper, the leaves are a mix of the Night of Navy and the Pretty Peacock. So it's really beautiful. And this time I'm going to do more of the navy blue. So I'm just doing the stems and just the start of the leaves. And then I'm going to come back with my light. So this set of leaves is going to go like so. So I want the dark side of the leaf over here. So this side gets full, and then I just put a little bit extra. And then again, I'm thinking that the light's coming down, so this side's going to be the dark side. And again, this side's going to be the dark side. And then I'm going to come in with, again, the smaller tip now, and I'm going to add a little bit in the middle, a little bit more depth to the dark side. That sounds like I'm talking about Star Wars. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of the Night of Navy, and to make the center a little bit. So I'm going to just use the color lifter to help this just be a little bit lighter right in here. Just give it a little bit more pop. Okay, so now I can die cut this. So the set of dies comes with a matching piece. So we just keep turning it till we get it to line up. And then I'm going to use one of my little Post-it notes to keep it in place while I run it through my little mini stamp and cut and emboss machine. Okay, whenever I'm using the little one, I always stagger the plates. You may have learned this before, but I just give it a little bit of room so that it can pick it up a little bit easier. It just seems to struggle less. So I'm just going to go through and then back, because I don't want the whole piece run through the die cut machine, because it seems to get the paper a little messed up, and I have more plans for that paper. Okay. All right, so now we can start assembling our card. So I'm going to put this piece on. Looks like I got something on there. Not sure what it was, but good thing most of it's going to be covered up. So I'm going to center it on the card base. And then I want this piece down below. Making sure these three sides are the same. And then I'll add this above it. And again, making sure the top three sides are the same. So I have one of the flowers in the middle, and then all the other flowers around the side. Okay, so now I need a sentiment. I thought I had an envelope full of, oh, here we go. So this is a 3/4 inch by 4 1/4 piece of basic white cardstock. And so now I'm going to just add the happy birthday, and I'm going to add it on the right hand side so that I can put my flower over on the left. So I'm going to use the Berry Burst again. That looks a little off, doesn't it? Good thing there's two sides. There, that's better. I find that when I use dark colors like Pretty Peacock, the dark greens, the navy, I have to wash my chamois a lot more often. Okay, so before I put this down, I'm going to use some of this beautiful Misty Moon-like sparkle silver edged ribbon. So I need about 4 inches, but I'm going to cut it a little bit longer, or 4 1/4. And then I'm going to cut it in half lengthwise. Sorry, everything's getting all sideways. Because and you can use 2 pieces instead if you want, but it's really beautiful ribbon and I want to conserve. So I'm going to put this over, and then I'm going to put tear and tape from end to end for the ribbon to adhere to. And I'm going to put my tear and tape right up against the edge. So let me show you what I'm talking about. It's hard to see because there's a white on white. So I've got my tear and tape that goes clear to the edge from end to end so that my ribbon will adhere to it. So I can lift this off. And this ribbon is two-sided, so it doesn't matter which way. I'm going to go over and look at it and see if there's anything that needs to be adjusted. So it looks like, let's take this other piece off, and maybe I'll watch how I put it on. Put it at one end, and I want a little bit of that ribbon to show up. And then there's still some sticky adhesive, so then all you need to do is attach it to your card front, and it's going to go from one side of the card to the other. And then when you're done, you can open it up and trim the little bit of extra ribbon at both ends. Isn't that beautiful? I just love that little extra sparkle there. Okay. And then I am going to add dimensionals to pop this up. So one in the middle of the flower, one over here with this leaf, and one over here with this leaf. And I just love how, even though the berry burst isn't something that you would necessarily want around a leaf, I think that, like I said, there's enough leaves out there that just have a really beautiful look to them when there's a little extra color. I'm going to add just a smidge more of the navy. Just has a really pretty look. Just really, really beautiful. Okay, so now we have these gorgeous embellishments, and they're Night of Navy and Berry Burst. So we're going to use a mix of these on this front. And I did put some of the Berry Burst up here, but I think I'm going to keep the navy up here and then put my Berry Burst down here. And then I can put navy or Berry Burst here by the Happy Birthday somewhere. actually, maybe just over here by this flower. Isn't that beautiful? And then, of course, for the envelope, you can do whatever you want, but I thought maybe the floral along the flap would be pretty. It helps if you have something to stamp off on so that you can get all the edges. And then if you've got some little edges like up here at the top, I can just add a little leaf to it. There we go. Isn't that pretty? Makes for a great happy birthday card. All right, so this is it for the cards that I was making today. And I need to find the third one. Here it is. So there we go. Beautiful. So I'm so glad you were able to join me. I love having a little extra time working with some product. And of course, remember, it's available starting July 1st. So be sure to check out my store. I gave you the link. I'll have this and everything I did last Monday on my blog this week. And so be sure to subscribe to my blog because I'll give you step-by-step instructions with all the dimensions. Again, in case you need to see it written rather than a video. And I appreciate you following along. If you're watching on YouTube later, feel free to like and subscribe. Share the video with a friend. And have a great evening, and I hope you have a blessed week. I'll see you on Friday.